Good morning. I hope everything's going great in your world today, and I hope you're going to have a tremendous week. I want to think with you today about a single word. It's the word faithful. Now, to think about just for a moment, times that Jesus used that word. You remember any story about the man that had a large amount of money and he was going away on a trip and he called three of his servants in. He gave one 5 talents, which would be something comparable to $5 million today. A talent would be worth about $1 million. He gave to another 2 million, to another one, and went on his journey and was gone for a long time. When he finally came back, these servants came in, and the man who had been given the 5 talents or the $5 million said, "Lord, I took your money and I've gained 5 more." And the master said, "Well done. You're a good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few things. I'll put you in charge of many things." Then the one came that had been given the 2 million, and he said, "Lord, I took the 2 you gave me and I gained 2 more." And the master said, "Well done. You're a good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few things. I'll put you in charge of many." And then the 1 talent man came, of course, and he had worlds of excuses. He said, "I knew you, Lord. I knew you're a hard man. You reap where you hadn't sown. You gather where you hadn't strewn any seed. I was afraid. I took the talent you gave me, the $1 million you gave me, and I hid it in the earth, and now I brought it back to you just like you gave it to me." And the master said, "You lazy and wicked servant. You ought at least to have taken my money and put it in the bank that I might gain interest on it. I take the the talent from him and give it to the one that has 10 and cast him into outer darkness." I'll tell you something. Being faithful to God really does matter. No wonder the writer of Revelation, John the Apostle, when he would think about the challenge in Revelation chapter 2 to the church at Smyrna, would say to them, "Be faithful even to the point of death, and I'll give you a crown of life." What does it mean to be faithful? There's certainly a difference between being faithful and being absolutely perfect, that I never make a mistake in any way. There's something different than that. What if you thought of it in terms of marriage, for example? And you thought about a husband with his wife, or the other way around, with the wife with the husband. What would it mean to say about them in their marriage? They were faithful to each other and to the marriage bond, to the commitments they made when they got married throughout their marriage life. It would mean they were true. They were dependable. They were ones that were real. They were ones that were actually dependable in every way from their partner. You know, none of us make it when it comes to the perfect kind of sense, in that I never make a mistake. But I can be totally true and faithful to my wife, and my wife can to me. And I can be totally true and faithful to my God, which is even more important. When I walk with Him and I strive to follow the things that He tells me to do, and I strive to be that one that even God can depend upon. That when He puts something into my hands for it to be used, that I'm going to take it and use it, not bury it and come back with a bunch of excuses. Being faithful is important. And what's going to matter in the day of judgment is a simple thing. Was I faithful and true to my God? Did I live a life where he could say, well done, you're a good and faithful servant? See, that matters so very much. I can't have him looking at me and say, boy, Leon, you never made a mistake in your life. No, no, far cry from that. But I can be faithful and true to my God every step of the way, and you can too. God calls on each of us, be faithful, and I will give you the crown of life. Praise the Lord.